Welcome back, folks, to WWE Network and Chill. I'm Graham Giuseppe Matthews, and right here on the show, I break down all the original programming that I watch on the WWE Network. And while this is not a WWE Network original show, all the episodes are available on the WWE Network, so you can check it out at your leisure. And basically, we talk about anything on the show here that's on the network that is not in-ring related, that is not Beast in the East or an old episode of Raw or a pay-per-view, what have you. This is all the Legends houses of the WWE Network, the Breaking Grounds of the network, and the Total Divas of the WWE Network. So we broke down the first 3 episodes of the show of Season 1. If you haven't already checked them out, be sure to do so right here on the channel. But today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 4, entitled The Fat Twin. So the central theme of this episode, I gotta better organize my notes. I will just say this right out for the next couple of episodes, that for what I've done for the past 6 episodes, because by this point I've already seen the first 6 episodes, and I've already seen every episode up to this point, but I'm rewatching them to review here for the show. But what I do, I have a whole notebook here that I write down notes just so I can keep track of what's going on and whatever. And that definitely helps, but I feel like it would better benefit me if I separated them into like 3 different categories. Because what it seems like in every episode, we have 3 different storylines going on, and I hate to keep on going from one note to the other and going from storyline to storyline, so I apologize in advance. And it's going to be like that for this episode, the next one, and episode 6 review, so just keep that in mind. But beyond that, it will definitely better organize my notes so it's easier to review and easier for you guys to follow along with me. But anyway, like I said, the central theme of this show is, when you hear Fat Twin, you would think of the Bella Twins. That's exactly what this episode's about. And Brie Bella making Nikki Bella feel subconscious, more self-conscious about her weight as they prepare for a photo shoot on the beach for SummerSlam 2013. So we see Nikki and Natalya trying on some lingerie to start off the episode. Really has nothing to do with anything, but I guess it kind of ties into the relationship that we see between Natalya and TJ a little later on in the relationship that they have. So it's a little weird that by episode 4 of the show, we've been introduced to Vinny, Cameron's boyfriend, Ariane's boyfriend. We've been introduced to Jonathan just a little bit, John Uso, or Jimmy Uso, whoever, John Cena, Bryan Danielson, all the other boyfriends, but not yet TJ, who was Tyson Kidd from the WWE. Him and Natalya have been together for as long as they've basically known each other, almost since birth, and they have only just recently gotten engaged and are set to be married in the near future. But they have a very weird relationship. They're such good friends, and they've known each other for so long. They're a lot more on the friendly level than they are romantic partners, if that makes sense. So Natalya's like buying all this lingerie so she could show it on. She could try it on for TJ later. So some interesting insight on the relationship between TJ and Natalya that we'll get a little bit more in depth in a little bit later on. But then we see the whole central theme of this episode, which kind of branches off into 2 separate storylines here. Cameron is jealous of Nikki Bella, and specifically the implants that she got early. I think it was 2012, but she came back with them in 2013. And Cameron is jealous of that because she believes that sex sells. And that is absolutely right, but obviously, the message that this episode is trying to send, which I'll reiterate at the end of the review here, at the end of the recap, end of the episode, that it is kind of, and it's pretty obvious that we get at least one of these messages in every single freaking TV show out there, is that you shouldn't be self-conscious about your weight, you're beautiful just the way you are, blah, blah, blah. But you know exactly what I'm trying to say here, and you know exactly where this is going. Because Cameron has significantly smaller boobs than Nikki Bella does, so she feels like if she gets implants, she'll be a bigger fan favorite in the WWE. She is just not that good in the ring to begin with, so I feel like it really doesn't matter, but in Cameron's mind, she believes that she needs those implants in order to become a bigger star in WWE. So, like I said, Brie Bella is urging Nikki Bella to go on this cleanse because she herself wants to lose weight for the photo shoot coming up as they try on bikinis for a SummerSlam photo shoot. And her big thing is that her and Nikki need to look alike as they're twins. They need to look as similar as possible. And thankfully, they would go on to kind of change up their respective images. A little later on in 2013, I know Nikki Bella would start wearing the snapbacks and wear different gear, the high socks, and Brie Bella was a bit more reserved, I guess, with not showing as much cleavage and stuff like that, obviously. But at this point in time, Brie Bella was hell-bent on making her look almost identical to Nikki Bella, and she kind of comes to her senses later on, but at this point, she urges Nikki Bella to go on this cleanse with her for 20 days, because Nikki Bella feels like that she's fat. She reads all these Twitter comments, she reads an Instagram post, and that people are calling her fat and all this other stuff, so she feels that going on this cleanse would be the best thing for her at this period in time. So Ariane brings Trinity and John to the boob appointment to try out these new to try out these new implants and whatever. She doesn't get the implants right then and there. Obviously, it's a very impulsive decision. But what she instead does is that she tries out some implants that the doctor gives her. And like, I don't know why John was there, but I guess, or Jimmy, I'll just call him Jimmy Uso because when I say John, I think of John Cena. But Jimmy Uso, he's brought to the appointment for an outside perspective, letting Naomi lets him touch the other woman's breast and one of the doctors, which was interesting. But Cameron takes some home with her to try on for the rest of the week, and she also finds out that if she gets these implants, that she'll probably be out of the ring for upwards of a month or two, probably leaning towards 2 months. By 3, she should be good, but it's a long time because whatever setbacks Cameron suffers, that kind of affects Naomi as well. So beyond that point, Natalya and TJ are planning their wedding. So what's, all their different stress and whatever else, and Natalya's trying on different lingerie for TJ. He doesn't really care, and instead he's watching Extreme Rules 2013, which was pretty great. So, and he just kind of treats her like a friend, like she's trying on all this lingerie, and TJ just kind of like pats her on the head as she sits next to him on the couch, which was pretty funny. So Cameron trying on the implants all around like work and around the WWE backstage area and in the pool. She loses one in the pool. And so that doesn't really get too pretty towards the end there. So then they are back at the Bella Twins compound. They're just hanging out at their house, Nikki Bella and Brie Bella. And Brie Bella finds that Nikki's very reserved on this night. She's very quiet. She's not saying much. So Brie Bella says, or she starts to think to herself, maybe something's going on here. She feels a bit guilty. So she goes to the trash and finds this huge-ass wine bottle and the wrapper for the muffin from the day before or something, meaning that she broke the cleanse, that she was, that she promised to go on for 21 days. And then she said to Nikki, which is completely uncalled for, and one of the biggest moments in this show that really made me hate Brie Bella for a long-ass time. And I like Brie Bella as a person more so than Nikki Bella, but I feel like this was one of those times that really made me hate Brie Bella for a long time. Scripted or not, this was a bitch thing to say. She goes, "No wonder people call you the fat twin." And that really lit a fire under Nikki, made her feel very self-conscious, very upset. She stormed off, made me pissed off that someone, that she would even say something like that. So I thought that was just ridiculous. So then Cameron shows off the implants for Vinny. Obviously, he likes it. He names both of her implants. One of them Janice, and he seems to love it. So he obviously can't wait for Cameron to get implants. Nikki lashes out at Brie, gets very, very pissed that she called her the fat twin and kind of gives her the business, as she should have, like I said. But Brie apologizes, and they go on to later do the photo shoot, and Brie admits that they are twins, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have to be identical. And granted, early on in their WWE careers, they did look identical. I couldn't tell one from the other, but definitely since they came back, they kind of adopted their own attitudes and their own personalities, and that should also reflect in their looks and their images, and they started to do that, thankfully, beyond this point later on in 2013. So TJ takes Natalya in the car, and Natalya's talking about, how she really wants to get married, blah, 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 and she won't shut up about it. So TJ takes Natalya on this romantic trip, or so Natalya thinks, and it ends up being to the courthouse. And TJ says, "You want to get married so badly? Let's do it right here, right now." And I fucking love TJ. And then Natalya goes, "If this is what our friendship means to you, if this is what our ultimate marriage means to you, then I do not want to be a part of it." Because Natalya wants to have this huge, extravagant wedding inviting 150 people. And TJ's like, 150 people? Do you even know 150 people? And TJ was saying, that's why don't we just have 50 people? And Natalya's like, "What about 100? He's like, "I think 50 people is enough." So that leads him to taking her to the courthouse, like I said. And she gets really pissed. She storms off. So then later on, we get to the backstage area at a WWE show right before the Funkadactyls are about to go, not to wrestle, but rather to manage Tons of Funk in some tag team match or something, I think against 3MB. So what she has done, she gets bigger gear for her boobs, and she has the implants sewn into the gear. But in between going somewhere real quick or whatever happens, Nikki steals the implant, so Cameron just frantically looks for the implant. She can't find it, so she puts tissue in there instead. She stuffs it, and then whatever else. She goes out there looking like a hot mess, which you'll never hear me use those words again, I promise. But she goes out there looking like such that, and then she comes back and finds out that Nikki took it. And what did I write here? Sent the wrong message. Since the wrong message goes against it. No, Cameron was talking about, rather, I wrote down these little notes here, and now I remember what I was talking about, or rather, why I wrote down what I did. Cameron later admits, and this is the moral of her story, that she's beautiful just the way that she is. She doesn't need the implants, and that in getting the implants, she feels like she'd be sending the wrong message to her fans and her followers that she feels that she's beautiful just the way she is. So why would she get implants if she doesn't really need them? So they kind of just disregard that and just go forward anyway. So that kind of wraps up her side of the story. And then afterwards, TJ has a romantic dinner for Natalya to make up the whole courthouse incident. And they talk about getting married on the beach and all this other stuff. And that kind of leads to their marriage, I think, at the half-season finale. It's not the season 1 finale. Or maybe it is the season 1 finale. But it's either at the halfway point or later on in the show. But they kind of tease towards that. And a couple more episodes beyond that point. But that is episode 4, season 1 of Total Divas. That is a review of that episode. Season 1, episode 5 is coming up with the name of that episode. I completely forgot, but that is coming up in the next edition of WWE Network and Chill. But in the meantime, you guys can follow me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant, on Facebook at facebook.com/Graham.Jason.Matthews, and right here on YouTube by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. All support is amazingly appreciated. Have a great week, guys. I'm Graham Jason Matthews, and I'll catch you folks down the road.